Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we are currently in the middle of a mission. This is a defend base mission, and we've got a Seth, we've got a Hunchback, we've got a Highlander, and an Ifrit out over here. We took a fair amount of damage fighting the Vanguard, particularly in our Bandersnatch and our Crossbow. This Marauder was just shot at by that Seth and took a fair amount of damage, but out over this way they've also got an SRM carrier, which is a pretty high priority target. We've got a Hunter, and we've got a Sparky and a Jaeger. So we can clear this up pretty easily. This Jaeger is very low armor count, and that's reasonably fine. Our Crossbow X, I kind of want to move out over this direction to about here.
Clear the way.
With the idea being we want to... Boy, this frame rate is not great in this urban environment with this many units, but we want to attack this Seth, which just failed to move. It fired without moving. So these hit odds are not fantastic. Did we fail our sensor roll? We did. We failed our sensor roll. Okay, I'm still going to do this to trigger the AMS.
Aye, aye.
We got a reasonable number of hits there, but that definitely did shoot down a fair number of missiles. We just need to overwhelm that AMS in that Seth. So next up, we'll see what unit is moving. This is going to be a Phase 19 mover. This is an allied unit. And this is going to be this Rhino FSG. I'd like this to move down here and engage the Seth. That would be ideal. Just trigger the AMS with these LRMs. We'll see what it actually does. It probably won't do that, but that would be what I would prefer. It's firing on the Ifrit. I mean, that thing has 13 evasive. It got a couple of hits. And it did trigger the AMS, so I guess that's something. So next up is going to be that SRM carrier moving up, and this is a very high priority target for us over here. It's got a lot of SRMs. It's not in range to really do anything. And how much evasive did it get from that move? 8? That's quite a lot.
Commander?
So our Bandersnatch is going to head down over this direction, with the idea being we want to fire on someone down here. I really want it to be that SRM carrier. The hit odds are not there. We could fire on the Hunter, and the hit odds are there for that. This is potentially a kill on the Hunter, but honestly, I think we soften the SRM carrier. I really think that that would be the better call here, because I really want that SRM carrier gone. We know that this thing can do a lot of damage to us. Like, look at that, 765 damage. So getting rid of that is a very high priority. I think we don't fire these medium lasers, but we do fire like this.
Right, Commander.
So we hit one of those medium lasers, and a decent number of missiles there, softening up that SRM carrier. I like it. That's reasonably good. Our Crossbow is going to also attack down that way.
Here.
Yeah, you're overheated, I'm aware. And next up is going to be this Jaeger, and that's going to move forward. It's just the autocannon variant. This is not a very scary mech, so I'm not too concerned about that right now. To be honest, our Rifleman is going to outperform their Jaeger. There's no doubt about that, by a significant margin. So the Jaeger is heading down over here and chose not to fire.
What's up?
Fascinating. Now the Crossbow is going to step down over here. It's weakened on its armor, but we're going to fire on this SRM carrier, and we're going to fire with ER LRMs. We could very easily kill the SRM carrier here. It depends on how we roll. Structure exposure. We did not destroy it, but it was very, very close. 1 health remaining on that SRM carrier. Okay. So with 1 health remaining there, I think our LRM carrier is probably going to be destined to finish that off. I want to take our Nidhogg. We can't fire the bombs on their flying units. I want to take our Nidhogg out over this way.
On my way. Double time.
With the idea being, I'm going to fire the Snubnose PPC and the heavy RL-10, maybe even the AoE rockets at this set. Hit odds aren't great, mostly due to we failed our sensor roll, but let's see what we get done here. 57 damage, and we trigger the AMS and do a decent amount of damage there overall. Cool. So we really want this Seth gone. The Ifrit is also going to be a problem, but for the moment, triggering that AMS is a pretty big deal. Okay, they have a Phase 15 mover. This is their Hunchback. I'm not too concerned about this Hunchback necessarily. It will be a little bit dangerous, but not super dangerous compared to some of these other units, like the SRM carrier or like the heavy bombers. That's actually our allied archer, which is going to then fire on the Ifrit. I mean, it triggers the AMS and chips down its armor a little bit more. I can't really complain about that, but I don't think that's the best place to fire. I think it would have been much better off for... Man, this frame rate. It would have been much better off for this Seth up here to end up getting that shot, in my opinion. So now it's going to be this Hunchback moving, and then we're going to have our Phase 15 mover, which is our Marauder. Our Marauder is in reasonable shape here, and we'll be able to move it to attack that Seth, which is the idea. The Hunchback jumps up onto that building and fires on this Vargur APC. I don't really care about that. Was that an artillery piece that it had? Like a small artillery piece, I think? That's fine. So our Marauder is going to position up over here.
On my way.
Cool. And we're going to fire our UAC-5 as well as everything else at this Seth. It's a little out of range, but I want to give it a go, and we'll see what we get done here. Okay. Decent hits there. It's not perfect, but it's definitely about what could be expected. How's that armor doing? It is softening. Cool. Okay. So Phase 14, they're now going to move this Highlander. And the Highlander is the target of our Nidhogg soon enough. But this longbow will move first, and what's it going to shoot at? Nothing at all? Okay, that's a terrible choice for this longbow. Why did you just shoot at nothing with your arrow cores? I guess because of AMS, but if I was the longbow, I would have shot those at, like, the SRM carrier. That would have been the way to go, in my opinion. But it probably would have been AMS'd by this Ifrit. If it... Well, it might have been. If it was AMS'd, that's still a win. So the Highlander jumps, as expected from a Highlander. It fires at our Marauder and misses almost everything.
Took a hard hit there.
So that's actually really, really good for us.
My armor's getting stripped off.
We did maybe take a stray shot back here somewhere, maybe in that Bandersnatch, but it's fine for now. So next up is our Grasshopper, and the Grasshopper wants to move somewhere around here. We can't get into position to point at the Ifrit. That's okay. I'm just pot-shotting the Seth here. 2.2%? Did we fail all of our sensor rolls? No, we're firing blind. Okay, fair enough on that. I guess we'll choose a different target. What else do we have for targets here? Hunchback is better, but we're probably best off of all to fire on this Highlander, and that's what we'll do.
Firing all weapons.
Okay, we took down a couple of buildings there, but nothing that were important. So very little getting done there. That's reasonably fine for the moment.
Good to go.
But this rifleman is going to head forward down over here. As I said, our LRM carrier is going to destroy their SRM carrier. So I'm currently leaning towards attacking the Hunter with our rifleman. So let's fire on that guy.
Confirmed.
Okay. Mediocre shots there, but it'll do. So we did some damage to the Hunter, took down that building, but the building really doesn't matter to anything. So that's fine.
I'm ready.
Next up is our Black Knight. I really want the Black Knight to be somewhere where it can attack that Ifrit with some, or not the Ifrit, the Seth with some reasonable chance of success. We'll put it here. It has relatively fresh armor for the time being as well. So let's fire on this Seth. Only 34% hit odds, but why are these so low? I mean, I know it has some mimetic armor. We failed another sensor roll here? That's insane. Okay, I blame the Ifrit for that. It's probably ECMing us. So we're just going to move up, and we did manage to hit one large laser into that Seth, so that's a further weakening of its side armor there. That's okay. Next up is our jerry-rig demolisher. Now, that really needs to move, like, up over here. And I think we're going to fire on the Ifrit. Ooh, these hit odds are terrible. Yeah, there's a lot of ECM jamming going on over here. Yep. Do we even fire this? Well, it's worth a try. Hit odds are incredibly low, but you never know.
Target confirmed.
1 damage. Okay, well, that'll work. So that's fine for now. the Epimetheus is going to be moving
What are your
soon,
orders,
but
Skipper?
now it's the LRM carrier's turn. I'm sending the LRM carrier, as previously stated, out over this way. It doesn't need to do a lot of damage to this SRM carrier. We're going to fire this in standard mode. And then we'll turn it around and use SAMs. But we really need this SRM carrier gone, and it is gone. Perfect. We do not want to take a salvo from that SRM carrier. No doubt about that. So let's get rid of that, and the question is, what are the turrets going to do now? We haven't moved our Epimetheus yet, either. Or our Demolisher. So we've still got a few more units to move here. But the SRM carrier being destroyed is a very big deal. Cool. A sensor lock on the Highlander. Okay, a sensor lock on that Hunter. PPC's on that Ifrit, but it's not going to do anything. That is not a concern. Yeah, they're never going to hit that with 13 evasive. And doing a little bit of missile damage to the side arc of that Highlander. I don't mind that. That's pretty decent. Yeah, that's pretty good right there.
Commander.
So next up would be our Epimetheus. And the Epimetheus is definitely wanting... I prefer not to sprint, but I think we have to. Definitely wanting to move up and fire on this Seth. We're going to fire everything we've got on it and hope to take it down, but odds are not great.
Firing full complement on enemy.
We got a few hits here. We've overwhelmed its AMS, so that's something, but we did not manage to take it down. I'm not shocked about that. That would have been a pretty unlikely scenario. So next up, we have an allied unit. I think this is another turret. Yeah, firing more missiles on that Highlander and missing literally all of them. Okay. So that does absolutely nothing there. Okay. Next up is our Devastator. And the Devastator can make its way somewhere around... I'm wondering about the ECM range of this Ifrit. Maybe around here?
Affirmative.
Okay, 0.9% hit odds. It's not worth firing. Okay. So next round. They do still have some powerful units. We've eliminated one of them. We're concerned about what the Seth and the Ifrit are going to do at this point. So we'll see. Next round, we'll see how we roll on initiative. Phase 23 for the Ifrit, okay. Its ECM is definitely proving problematic for us. Now, these mechs over here should be very capable of cleaning this up. I'm not too concerned about that. The LRM carrier is going to swap into SAM mode. That guy moved up and did not fire. That was the Hunter, I believe? Yes. Okay, we'll see what happens with the Ifrit here as we very slideshow our way over. This is not the recording. This is just the game right now. This is why I try to stay away from urban environments, because it's just so much more laggy. And this is with the reduced props. It's nuts. So we'll see what happens with the Ifrit here, and this is potentially painful. It has been softened up, so if it chooses not to move here, that'll be a very good thing. But it did move. Going for our Bandersnatch, probably. This could be devastating. Wait a sec, it didn't fire. How many evasive does it have? 10. So it's going to be easier to hit. Okay. Phase 21, this is going to include their Seth, but currently it's an allied unit that is moving. So this is going to be like this Fulcrum, or there's another one. I'm not sure which one it'll be. Firing on that Highlander side arc? Okay, that side arc of the Highlander is softening. Okay, now that Seth is going to move, and the question is, how much evasive is it going to do, and how much damage is it going to do? We have very little information on it right now, although that will change very shortly. We know we've softened it significantly. There's no doubt about that. So, what are you going to do, Seth? 10 evasive on that Ifrit means it's a lot more likely that we're able to hit it, and the fact that it moves forward means that ECM jamming over here will be less significant, although I think there will still be a fair amount of significant ECM jamming. It drops most of everything onto the Epimetheus Prime, and it does destroy an arm there, and probably a knockdown as well. And we're unsteady on a number of units. Okay, so the Epimetheus ended up losing a lot, actually. How did we lose the light AC-20? Did it just through armor crit our light AC-20? Okay, whatever. We can definitely re-outfit the Epimetheus. I'm not too concerned about that. There's nothing too major there that was lost. They're attacking this Highlander and doing literally no damage to it, okay? That seems absolutely fine. But the important thing here is the Seth didn't move, and the Epimetheus is not that bad of a target, as far as I'm concerned. So that's reasonably fine. It just hit a lot into that arm. I don't really like the hard points being in this arm as they are, but actually, yeah, that was a lot of through armor that it did there. So that's definitely noted. We'll need to re-outfit the Epimetheus, but I'm not too concerned about that one. Okay, so who are they moving right now? I'm not sure what phase this is. Okay, it's going to be our crossbow. So the crossbow is going to sprint all the way forward and position right here. This might be in the splash zone of the damage on the Highlander, but that's okay. I want to fire on this Seth. Hit odds are 55%, which seems decent. That mimetic armor and stealth is a bit tough, but we want to get this thing shot down, and the crossbow has a very good chance of doing it. I'm not sure we broke through the armor there, but we might have. 20 from 60 hit by AMS? Okay. So we're definitely chipping through that AMS. That looks good. The prime mover is going to position out over that way and do like nothing. Next up, the hunchback is going to move. The hunchback is not, in my opinion, capable of doing too much danger to us. So at this moment, that's reasonably fine. And apparently we're very zoomed in now. Sure. Okay. So the hunchback moves, and unfortunately, we do have a situation here where the Highlander moves before our Nidhogg does, but the hunchback jumped here and goes for the Vargar APC. So that I'm okay with. No problem whatsoever there. Next up is going to be our Bandersnatch, and the Bandersnatch is going to head in over this direction, with the idea being I want to eliminate this hunter, ideally. So we're just going to do something about like this.
Roger that.
And we did end up triggering the AMS on that Ifrit, so that seems good. I don't think the hunter died from that due to the AMS on the Ifrit, but that's fine. That Ifrit is definitely a bit of a problem for us, but it's going to be less of an issue in its current position. So we'll see what our allies end up doing. I would like to see some of these attacking the Ifrit at this time. But the longbow, I want to see attacking this Seth. Or, actually, even better, because it has the arrow 4s, attacking right down here. That would be the ideal scenario. We'll see if it does that. I kind of doubt it. What moves next? Whatever it was didn't fire or move. So, our ally being kind of useless there. That's fairly normal. Phase 18 is going to be this Highlander, potentially significant damage being dealt to the Epimetheus by it, but the Epimetheus's armor is okay. Other than that arm, where that just got completely eliminated, right? The Jaeger actually is what's moving now. Firing on the prime mover, I don't care about that. That's completely irrelevant. So next up is our crossbow. And the crossbow is going to position about here. We get side arc on that Jaeger, and that is also an extremely good shot for us. Very high hit odds, and the Jaeger has very low raw amounts of armor. So this is going to do a lot of damage to this guy.
All weapons are go.
Structure exposure and a bunch of damage dealt.
Score.
Beautiful.
Critical hit.
So that Jaeger is in significant damage now, or rather significant danger now. Next up is going to be that Highlander, and that was fully expected, that the Highlander gets to move before we can respond with our Epimetheus. But yeah, I was hoping that the Seth would be taken down last round. Unfortunately, it just didn't quite play out that way. We'll see what happens with the Highlander. What's it going to do? DFA our unit here? Our crossbow? No. It actually jumps in a slightly awkward way, but it does go for the Epimetheus there, as expected. And the Epimetheus is going to get knocked down. Those heavy bombers are really the problem, of course.
Oh.
Okay.
Won't
I mean, 3 heavy bombers to deal with in this mission is a lot of heavy bombers. No doubt about that. So the Marauder is going to step slightly forward here, and we're going to continue to fire at that Seth. Reasonable hit odds here, including with the tag. Tagging that would be very useful if we don't get it shot down. Structure exposure and a lot of internal damage there. We did succeed in tagging it as well. Cool. So the Seth took a lot of damage there and is in a lot of danger. Wow, it has like 1 hit point over there. Okay. That is sad, but our rifleman at this point is going to continue to advance out over here. I'd like to take the side arc on this Jaeger. And this Jaeger is not doing well, right? We're going to fire directly in here. We're going to take this overheat. And that's a lot of damage right into that CT. Beautiful. Is he pilot ejecting? No. Okay. Noted. So, yeah, that Jaeger is not doing well at all. Next up is our Nidhogg. The job of the Nidhogg at this time is to come into rear arc of this Highlander.
Confirmed.
And we only have 32% hit odds on this Daisy Cutter. Is that because the Highlander jumped? Minimum range. Okay, I'm not going to fire the Daisy Cutter then, I guess. We're just going to fire something like this and hit the rear arc of this Highlander with whatever we've got.
Firing.
So that's going to make it unsteady. And he loses his evasive and takes a bunch of softening up in the rear arc. We'll fire the Daisy Cutter next round. We were still in minimum range there, so that's fine. Phase 14 is going to be that longbow. I would love to see the longbow actually do something, but alas, it did not. So next up is our Grasshopper, which is going to position right out over here. We're going to continue to fire on the Seth. This thing is incredibly close to dead. And let's see if we finish it off here. 1 hit will do. Looks like we got it. No? That was in the side that didn't have 1 HP. Okay. Sure. 4 from 4 hit by AMS there, so the Seth is still AMSing away. Okay. Next up is another Phase 14 mover. That is going to be this Archer. Let's see if that does anything useful. I'd love to see it attack anyone over there. Going for the Ifrit. That's a structure exposure on that Ifrit action. And triggering the AMS again. That's a pretty good thing.
Ready for orders.
So I'm going to take the Black Knight forward here. And the Black Knight is going to position here. I really want that Seth gone. And it is going to die here. This is a guaranteed kill. Okay, beautiful. We finally have a sensor roll on it. And let's go. It's definitely dead. 100%. We're just lagging. Very standard for an urban environment. There we go. That will get better as we clean up these units as well. So the Seth is out of here. There's a structure exposure on the Ifrit. And we've got this Hunchback over here and this Highlander, both of which should clean up fairly quickly. So at this point, most of our danger zone is over. Turret firing on that Highlander, continuing to do damage into that weakened side arc. I like the shots on the Ifrit. I wish they had hit. That would have shot it down, and that would be really, really good for us if that was shot down. I'm going to take our jerry-rig Demolisher up over here. And we're going to just crit fish into this Ifrit. Since there is an exposed structure here, this is absolutely fine. I'm even going to fire the eye rockets here. We're just looking to take this thing down. Let's go.
Firing.
We got 1 engine crit, only 1 machine gun hitting inside of that, unfortunately. 20 from 20 hit by AMS, so it's still AMSing away, but that will be done pretty soon. Next up is going to be our Devastator, which is going to take that same side arc. We're going to position it here.
No shooting, just running. Got it.
And we're going to fire on this Ifrit. We're just pot-shotting this, and we're looking to overwhelm its defenses.
Firing on target.
We did hit with one of those AC-20s. That might have shot it down. Yes, beautiful. Okay, so the Ifrit is shot down. That's a very big deal. They have no more heavy bombers to throw at us. Next up is our LRM carrier, and I'm going to take the LRM carrier down here. And we're just going to finish off this Jaeger. We don't need to use the SAM missiles. This guy's super dead.
Now let's see how you handle this.
There we go. One dead Jaeger. Phenomenal. So next round, I think that the Highlander probably dies to the backstab of the why am I forgetting the name? The Nidhogg? There we go. I suspect that it dies to that. And we're going to focus a lot of our damage on the Hunchy. We do have our Epimetheus here. Going to stand that up. We might want to disengage it. So that would essentially mean, well, we can't actually move it, apparently. We'll careful maneuver, and that would mean we can position it here. We could fire on the Hunchback or on the Highlander. Hit odds are low on everything, but we can fire on this Highlander. Oh, the light AC-20 is jammed, not destroyed. Okay, so all we lost was the medium lasers and the SRM-6. That's super replaceable. I don't mind that. Okay, so we're hitting that Highlander there and just increasing its instability a bit, but that's not going to do too much. So phase 2, and next round, we're going to see these guys roll up probably 26. I don't know how they would do that, but I mean, at the rate this is going. So we really do need this Highlander gone. The Epimetheus is in some danger at this point. Okay, 16 and 16. We can work with that. So phase 21, this is going to be the Hunter down over here. Yeah. And then this Sparky over here, he's currently hiding. We can probably take down this building and get that. But the Highlander is taking some additional front arc damage there. It's definitely softening. I'm wondering right now, how much damage has that Highlander actually taken? It's almost all in that side arc. Okay. Because I'm thinking about whether we actually want to backstab the Highlander with the Nidhogg or not, or whether we want to attack the Hunchy. I think it's fine either way. How much evasive does the Hunchy have? 5? And the Highlander has none currently? Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit dicey. I'm not sure which way we'd want to go with that to be optimal.
I've got you
But it
back.
probably doesn't matter. I think our best bet right now is to get in. Can we get into rear arc of this Hunchback and kick it? Oh, we absolutely can. This is free then. This Hunchback dies to this rear arc backstab. Do it. 79.7%. Assuming we hit the melee attack, I expect this Hunchback to be dead. And we did hit the melee attack. So I expect this Hunchback to die here. Structure exposure. And is that a death? It looks like it. Yeah, that's what we want to see. So -1 Hunchback. That was actually an LBX-20. Okay, noted.
SRMs are out.
Actually, they're not. You just need to go to standard, but that's fine. So the crossbow finishing that off is a very big deal. So next up, the Highlander is going to get to move in phase 16. I kind of want a position to block for the Epimetheus if possible. I don't want that to take another Highlander shot, for sure. But I mean, 3 heavy bombers, 2 main battle tanks, and an assault mech is kind of a lot. No doubt about that. So we've taken some damage, but it's not been so bad, all things considered. I kind of want to position our crossbow here. What are our hit odds on this Sparky? Pretty decent, honestly. We'll take this side arc attack. This isn't going to be quite as devastating as it was to that Jaeger. This thing has like double the armor, despite being a significantly smaller mech. And he is in cover, but we'll just start working up his instability a little bit there. Seems good. Chipping down that side arc armor. Phase 17, an allied unit, and this is hopefully going to be attacking the Highlander here. If we could get a knockdown on this guy, that would be actually not that great. We would not prefer it, because I want to hit the Nidhogg, or use the Nidhogg to hit it rear arc. So next up is our Rifleman, who can absolutely advance here. That's kind of a retreat, but this gives us a side arc here. We might stray shot, which would not be ideal. I'm not going to fire this ERPPC because of chance of stray shot and because of the heat issue.
Roger that. Target confirmed.
Okay. We did not stray shot, but we also did not hit. That's fine. We took down that building, and I guess that's okay for the moment. So next up is going to be an allied unit, and I would not really prefer it to attack anything, to be honest. So the Highlander moves now, and I really don't want to take another hit with the Epimetheus, but I don't think we have a chance here, or rather a choice. He's just going to do what he's going to do. And that is going to be jump up onto that building, which is not a good place for him to go, and fire on the Epimetheus. The Gauss rifle missed. That's a very big deal. The Gauss rifle hit this building. Okay, so that internal damage, was that real internal? It was real internal. Okay, noted.
Good to go.
So the Bandersnatch is going to advance down over this way. With the idea being, we would like to fire on this Sparky, but I think we're probably better off to hit the Hunter at this point. I'm not going to fire the medium laser because of heat, and we'll see what we get done here. Hit odds are not the finest in the world, but we get a few hits into that Hunter. I was hoping to see it go away, but sadly that did not happen. Next up is our Black Knight. Now the Black Knight can absolutely go for this side arc of the Highlander.
Acknowledged.
That would get us a knockdown, and I actually don't want a knockdown, so I'm not going to fire this.
I await your command.
I'm going to reserve these units.
Waiting for the right play.
I want to move the Nidhogg right now, but this longbow is going to move. How much you want to bet he knocks this guy down? No, he didn't. Okay, beautiful. So now it's the Nidhogg's turn, and we can position about here. Not in minimum range. This is probably going to destroy this building, as well as do significant damage to his rear arc. The Highlander is going to take fall damage, and he is going to take a large amount of rear arc damage. He is very likely to die to this.
Target lock on rear arm.
So the
I've
building
got
didn't
multiple
actually get
weapons
taken
with
down
no ammo.
remarkably, but he's still going to get knocked down due to stability. So that's fine. Does he die to the knockdown? I think he does. Yeah, that's what we want to see. Fantastic. So the Highlander is gone, and all that is left now is these two units out over here. So the Devastator is going to come as far down over here as we can, and we're going to hotshot this Hunter. Hit odds are kind of low, but if we manage to hit, we'll do a lot. And actually, that was a really good shot. That was 11%. Right on target there. I like it. So that's a dead Hunter.
Let's hit him hard.
And now there's one enemy left. We've still got 5 rounds for reinforcements. So to be clear, while we've taken a lot of damage in this, we have dished out a lot of damage very, very quickly as well. So that is all absolutely fine. The LRM carrier is going to position somewhere around here. I'd like to get maybe a little closer for ideal range. Yes. We'll position it about here.
Let's move.
Of course, that sprint doesn't necessarily help, but 40% hit odds is quite low for this. Into destroyed building radiation field. Okay, noted. Well, we'll still soften him up, and we'll see what we get done there. A little bit of softening. Sure, seems fine. Next up is going to be our Marauder, and we can absolutely position here and potshot this guy with our UACs. As well as our tag, actually. And we'll see what happens with that.
Firing.
We actually hit one of those UACs. Not bad. We'll take it. And we tagged him as well. So that seems pretty decent. We'll see what our allies do, but probably nothing. This is next going to be, what, our Grasshopper? I think that's what Plato
here.
drives. Yeah, he's going to be pretty out of range. We're going to head out over here.
Double time.
There we go. This ended up feeling more like a battle than like a defend base, to be honest. Sure, we've got turrets helping us out, but they never once even shot at the buildings. So, sure. Seems
I await
fine.
your command.
Our jerry-rig demolisher is going to hop in somewhere around here.
No shooting, just running.
And hopefully we don't stray shot our LRM carrier here. That would be quite bad. In fact, I'm not going to take this. I do not want to risk stray shotting the LRM carrier. Its armor is way too weak. Okay, so next up is going to be our Epimetheus, which honestly I'm just going to brace. There we go. And that seems decent. Okay, we're heading into next round, and this should be the final round. We're not expecting additional enemies, that's for sure. And we should be able to get these all mopped up. We took a fair amount of damage, but all things considered, it wasn't particularly devastating damage. The Epimetheus is going to take some time to repair, but beyond that, it's not too bad. So they're going to move in phase 21, and we'll see what they decide to do with their Sparky here. You gonna jump? What's your plan? I am not sure what it's doing. Oh, this is the Fulcrum moving. Okay. The Fulcrum moves over and maybe lobs a couple of LRMs or something. No, nothing at all. Okay, now the Sparky is going to move. This is the only remaining enemy unit, and it really isn't a threat to any of our units that remain right now, I don't think. I'm pretty certain it isn't. Maybe if it gets a really lucky shot into our crossbow. It did not jump. It left the radiation field. It did not fire, but it did guard and entrench. Okay, so taking a look at it, how are we doing for evasive? 5 evasive. Okay, it's going to be a little bit tough to hit, but we just need to wait for some of these allied units to move. Any moment now, allied units. You can do it. I know it's an urban environment, but still. Okay. Eventually, they'll move and fire. So the archer is moving up and not doing anything of note. It's going to be our Bandersnatch that is next. Okay, we'll position that about here. We have a clear LOS. Good hit odds here. No, I like this. I think this is really solid. I'm going to fire these 2 ER medium lasers, and let's light him up. I would like to see enough instability there
There's work to do.
to get rid of that evasive. But we did penetrate the armor. Took out a double heat sink, a medium laser, and 2 jump jets. So that'll be a torso exposure, not an arm exposure, and that's very good. We can hop into this position with this crossbow and light this guy up in that same arc. This could easily kill him, depending on what he has in this torso. If he's got an XL engine, he does not. So it may or may not kill him. We'll see. But there's that torso gone, and that's a lot of damage transferring in. A PPC Defiance Destruction, as well as a medium laser Intech, and, you know, a bunch of other things. So that all looks good. This Sparky is now unsteady, and he is super dead. So the Rifleman is going to position up over here, and we're just going to take this shot. This is probably the kill. Yeah, this is the kill shot. Basically guaranteed. Beautiful. Goodbye, Sparky. As soon as it gets caught up, anyway. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So that should be the end of the mission. That was a long one, no doubt about it. Like, this has been a long episode, and we split it into 2. We wiped out the Op4, and that's all good. We're going to have to do some manual repairs to the Epimetheus, and that's okay. We can get that done quite quickly, in fact. I'm not too concerned about that. That'll just be slotting in a new SRM-6 and 2 new medium lasers. Not a big deal there. The Epimetheus, however, did take quite a... Well, I mean, the reason it took all that much damage, though, is because of the heavy bomber and then the Highlander focusing it. Like, that's not that big of a deal. We just didn't have cover, right? It's an urban environment. There's not always cover available. So it's all fine. That was not bad. Considering the amount of firepower that the enemy had, I think that was really solid. We did pretty well there. We were able to take down the big guns before they were too effective, but they definitely did do a fair amount of damage. No doubt about that. As far as salvage, are we interested in any of this salvage? We can't get the Highlander. We might be interested in Seth parts as a backup to our Nidhogg, or maybe a replacement to it, but we're going to have an issue with that. Let's just check through here and see if there's anything that we really want. I mean, there is. There's a fair amount of things that we want, but let's just get from the roulette. Okay, medium pulse lasers, advanced optics, Artemis 4 attachments. There's a lot of good stuff that we just got out of that. Every single thing that we got here, I'm happy about. Except maybe that hunchback part. But beyond that, that looks really good. So in terms of compensation, that was solid. We're going to have to repair quite a lot. That was a lot of armor damage, but broadly our armor held. That could have been way worse. With the amount of firepower arrayed against us, I'm pretty pleased with how that went. All things considered. Yeah, we could definitely do better, and we will in the future. Things will improve, but that was a pretty decent showing, all things considered. I'm okay with that. They had a lot of firepower. Like, there was what, at least 3 LBX-20s, bare minimum, 3 heavy bombers. They had, I think, at least 2 Gauss rifles, a thumper artillery, not to mention that SRM carrier. There was a lot of firepower committed to that. And what did they get out of it? 2 medium lasers and an SRM-6. Oh no. We'll take it. So 500,000 to repair. That's not shocking given the amount of damage, but our armor held. It would be good if we had the damage reduction armor, but we need to hop into our mech bay and get the Epimetheus done before I forget. So we're going to cancel construction on the Epimetheus here. That's going to take 26 days. It's going to be actually longer than that. The Epimetheus took a walloping. No doubt about it, but it's broadly fine. So we're going to have to manually repair this, and that's okay. We're going to hop in here, hit the repair all button, and out over here, SRM-6, 2 medium lasers, as expected. So we can just put in 2 medium lasers again. No problem. And then what about our SRM-6? I assume we have one. Oh yeah, we've got 5. So no problem whatsoever there. Then we max out this armor. 0 tons remaining. Yep, this seems absolutely correct. We'll validate that and get that going. This is the vast majority of our repair costs. No doubt about that. But we're still up over 10 million before the financial report. So that sounds great. The Epimetheus should absolutely be prioritized here. We want to get that going for sure. And it'll take a while. But it is time to put a cut in here, well past time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to get those repairs done. We're going to take this financial report. That's going to be mildly painful. And we're going to deploy again, probably on a mission to make some more money. That would be probably our goal. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kintogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.